Good morning. After a long sabbatical, we're going to give this another try. If you are new to trading, you're probably best to just turn this off because this is more of a test stream than anything. I'm going to stream my trading today, and we'll see how it goes. It's going to take me a while to get back into the groove here, but we'll give it a try. I may or may not be talking very much. Again, this is a whole different skill set, being able to stream, talk, and trade at the same time. One of those is probably going to suffer, or most of those will suffer. So hopefully I'm going to try to not make it the trading that suffers. Anyway, you may be listening to a lot of music today. Anyway, this was a pretty good pullback overnight, wasn't it? I think what we're going to do is probably be looking for longs here at some point. These broken tops here did not reverse very much. We had a broken top here. Broken top here. Well, we did have some bounces off that broken top. And now we're hitting another broken top right here. And that was a nice reversal off of that. Then it came up, hit, this is the 21 EMA. Hit that, reversed off of that. Our next area of interest would be down here. And since we have a fair value gap here, I think if we were to get down here, we'd be looking for possibly a long. There is the opening bell. Turn off the opening bell. All right, so we are going now, and I'll talk as I have something interesting to say, or in my opinion, something interesting to say. All right, so we're selling off here immediately. Get my bearings here. All right, I got to decide what counts we have here. We've got a lot of PAs, a lot of evals. This week, I think I'm going to skip trading any of my PA accounts just because it being a shortened week because of the Thanksgiving holiday and FOMC minutes today. Yeah, this thing, boy, this is coming down pretty fast, isn't it? Huh. Interesting. I'd be interested in going long down here in this fair value gap, I think. Maybe somewhere right in here. Take a small long there, see what we can get out of it. It could rip right through it. That's a pretty strong, I mean, this whole thing has been a pretty strong downtrend, but we can give it a try. Yeah. Probably that fair value gap does not line up perfectly with this broken top here. We have this broken top right here, and that's approximately where it bounced right there. It never did get into this fair value gap yet, and it may not. It's not exactly a strong reversal off that area, but you see that area of interest right there was pretty effective, but it still wants to come down, so we'll give it a little bit of room, try to come in there and get into that area of what do they call it? Area of consequence. Yeah, never made it. I think we'll bail on that for now. We do have a volume node here that it may gravitate towards, and a smaller one here. We're getting some volume building up right in this area here. I'm not sure if I trust this fair value gap anymore because it did touch it. And this second visit to it may rip right through it. Right now, we'll just watch it. Yeah, I debated whether I wanted to actually stick my buy at the at that broken top from overnight here, right there, but I decided to hold off and try to get deeper into this fair value gap, and it never got there. How much of a move was that, by the way? Yeah, that was, geez, that's 23 points. Doesn't look that big, does it? It always cracks me up if I come on here overnight and I'm like, wow, that was a hell of a move, and I put my ruler on and it was like 2 points or something. But then during the morning like this, a small move turns out to be a huge move. Man, look at this thing. Shit. Yeah, it's 27 points in, counting. I'm afraid to get in front of it now because of this move we had overnight. I mean, heck, what are we talking about here? Man, that's 142 points overnight. Let's just watch it, see what happens. There's no way I'm getting in front of this thing. We're still below the 21 EMA. Yeah, if anything, still looking for shorts here. Now the ES, this by the way is NASDAQ. You can see that at the top. And this is S&P, ES, and NQ. See, it did come down into this fair value gap on ES. Almost breached it and reversed a bit. This thing still seems kind of heavy, but we are right at 16,000 here. So it's possible that this is going to be the bottom at 16 for a while. Obviously, a big round number like that is going to be a little harder to get through. But we have been on a mean rally for a while, so one of these days we're going to have a pullback. I don't know when, but you know that's going to happen at some point. Markets do not go straight up, so we're going to wait. We're down about 0.5% on NQ, it looks like. We're looking at the ES. ES down about 1/4 point. Take a quick look at. Yeah, there's a big gap down on the SPX. So it's possible that we will retrace that gap. The gap goes from about 45.39 to 45.45. I mean, you could have shorted this going into that 21 EMA and picked up a few points, but I'm not necessarily looking for a few points. I'm looking for an actual big move here. So in the second attempt, I don't get as excited about these fair value gaps. I mean, it touched it. It didn't go into that 50% area, but second attempt could rip right through it. So now the next look would be, maybe S4 down in this area. What are we looking at? 920. Man, that's an 80-point move though. So the question comes now, what would motivate us to go short at all? I mean, we're really down here. Now it's starting to break the 21 EMA. So we could be looking at maybe S2. There's fair value, tiny little fair value gap here. Very, very tricky. That would have been a great long though, down into, if this would have come down just a little bit more, that would have been a hell of a long. It's just chopping around in this fair value gap on the ES. That was a fake out. Tried to trap in those longs, reversed it, sending it back down, but we have come down a lot here. So this could be the bottom, and it could be just trying to trap shorts and longs in here, trap some shorts down here, trap some longs up here, and then send it the direction that they want to send it. Wish I would have went short overnight. Is the music too loud? I got my phone on here. Let's see here. What does it sound like with my voice? Is the music too loud? I got my phone on here. Let's see here. What does it sound like with my voice? That is a little loud, isn't it? Let's turn that down a bit. See how that works. All right, we'll leave it there for now. All right. It's just chopping around. What do we got news-wise? I don't think there's anything today before the... let's see here. Today is Tuesday. Existing home sales are at 10 a.m. Eastern, and then the FOMC meeting minutes are at 2 p.m. this afternoon Eastern. Tomorrow there's a lot of news at 7:30. Got unemployment claims at 7:30. we've got, 8:30 Eastern. 10 a.m. Eastern is consumer sentiment, and then nothing on Thursday. It's Thanksgiving, and Friday they actually have PMI at 9:45. I won't be trading on Thursday or Friday for various reasons, not the least of which is it's half a day and low volume and probably not a safe place to trade, and I have no interest in trading on holidays anyway. So, what do we got here? It's pretty hard to be thinking about going long here, that's for sure. But at the same time, going short, I mean, while it does look like it wants to continue down, who knows? I mean, we've been going down for hours, 100 and something points. What did I say it was? 150 points or something. So at some point, you know, great, we still have a downward trend, but I get in here and we get a, you know, even a 20, 30 point move, and I get stopped out just in time for it to continue on if that's what it's going to do. But we're just stuck here for now. So we will just sit here and listen to music while the market decides what it wants to do. It sure does look like it wants to continue on down though, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh, there she goes. Got a little of a micro bottom here. I'm going to go on mute for a minute. I'm going to go refill my coffee cup and see what this guy's going to do. I'm in the same room though, so I'm watching it. Looks like it's going to retest that fair value gap again down in here. scary long. ES here still doesn't want to leave this volume node. Volume is starting to build a little bit here. This is the bottom of the fair value gap. Actually, let's fix this to today. There we go. Do the same here. What will she do? I would be inclined to just at least give it a little shot long down in this fair value gap with a tight stop loss, but man, yeah, it failed to make a new low there, so that may be the bottom. We may be going up from there. Don't know. It's about a 40-point range here. See, what are the big NAS stocks doing? Let's see here. Yeah, see, there's a bunch of gaps on all these. Like Microsoft is catching a bid, and it's got a big gap from 376 to 377. Let's see what's Apple doing here. Apple catching a little bid. There's no gap on Apple. SPX. Yeah, I mean, we could see SPX trying to fill that gap. I don't think there was a gap on the futures overnight, if I'm not mistaken. Nope. This would have been right here. Sorry if I made you dizzy moving those charts around. we have to remember that those FOMC minutes are going to be coming out this afternoon, so it may be a tight range, small range for the morning. Yeah, that failure to make a new low on that last pullback is a bit bullish in my mind. But we still are below this 21 EMA, which I like to, for a long, I'd like to see it above that. Perhaps break through it, come back, test it, and then see if it rejects. Right now, it's every time it touches it, it rejects it. So I wouldn't be inclined to be going long way up here. And then all you two-legged pullback guys. We're actually trading above the 21 EMA on the 2000 tick chart. And there's a fair value gap here on top of it. So, you throw this fair value gap and a two-legged pullback. Right now there is a second entry short set up here. That would be right there. It's in it. Let's see if it fails. Looks like it could fail. This little purple diamond right there, that would be the trap. Trap would trigger at that point. It looks like it's going to give you your point though. Do people still, oh yeah, there you go. That second entry short succeeded, but that was the position was, in my opinion, wasn't proper. It was above the 21 EMA, so I don't think that technically speaking would have been a good trade. But it worked out, and it blew right through. If this bar closes, this fair value gap will be closed, and it should disappear. Well, we'll see if it makes a new low now. This little dashed red line right here on the NAS or on the NQ is the current low for this morning, and we've failed to break it. So right now it looks like, if I had to bet, they're trying to trap a bunch of shorts down in here, and then they're going to rip. But there's an equal chance, well, I don't know about equal chance, but there's also a chance that they're going to try to, recover this whole move. I mean, this move yesterday was a little sketchy to begin with. So what if they bring it all the way back down to here? Let's watch it and see if we get a new low here. I mean, in here, it's like it's gone down so much, I'm afraid to short. But because it's come down so aggressively, I'm afraid to go long too. So I think it's best to us to just sit on our hands and keep an eye on it and see if we're going to break aggressively one way or another. I got a squeaky chair here. No trade so far. So far, that low is holding up. I think we just touched the low on let me see here. Low here 45.25, low here 45.25. So those are matching lows, exactly matching. And ES bounced off of it. Let's see, do we have the same situation here? Low 80.25, low 81.75. We have not touched the low a second time yet. That low is holding up really well on both ES and NQ. All right, now, oh, we just broke the low. Now we're into that fair value gap. But man, I'm a little bit scared to go in there. That would be my trade right there. We would be into it, but does that make sense? I mean, it looks pretty heavy. That was a pretty aggressive red bar there. Yep. Let's see, what would I need? I like 12.5 points generally, so that would be it right there. We have not gotten there yet. We would have been in some money. There we go. That would have been our 12.5 points, $250. I should have taken it, obviously. But yeah, these fair value gaps are very powerful when aligned with other things. For instance, this one is at low of the day, bottom of the value area. So there's a lot of good reasons that was going to reverse off of there. This is one of the reasons that I actually stopped streaming last year, was because there's like this fear of embarrassing yourself in front of viewers, and that affects your trading. That if I wasn't streaming, most likely I would have given that a shot, because nobody would have known if it failed except me. I think the what was it, the new home sales or something came out at 9 Tuesday. Existing home sales, yeah. And let's see. Estimate was 3.9 million. It came in at 3.79. So they were actually a little bit lower. Which at the moment, bad news is good news for the markets, because that would indicate that the rate hikes are starting to work. But at some point, that's going to change, and bad news will be bad news, because it could be pointing to a recession or something insidious like that. So right now we're sort of in an area where we're looking for weaker economic news, so that might indicate that the Fed not only will stop raising rates, that at some point in 2024 they'll actually start lowering them. And it's already been, there is some decent percentage of confidence that they will reduce at least somewhat, which personally I would seriously doubt that you're going to see any rate lowering in 2024. But what do I know? I mean, they spent years to get this thing up, and then the minute they see positive or negative activity, they're going to start lowering it. Seems unlikely, but what do I know? What you're looking at up on your screen now are basically where I trade Apex, and I also have a trade day account on that's NinjaTrader. And then over on my other screen here, I have my Top Step. I have some funded accounts, and I'm also working on, I'm trying to get 3 funded accounts on Top Step. I have 1, and I've got a couple of evals that I'm working on now. And I guess you can have 3 funded accounts on Top Step. Where is that? Let me see here. Here it is. Okay, so that is Quantower is the platform there, and those are all Top Step accounts only. So if I take a trade there, I'll bring this screen up if I remember. In the meantime, we'll go back to Ninja. Did we see the bottom for the day? Who the hell knows? We had 2 opportunities to make some money, and they were both in the long side. This one here, the opening break to the bottom of this candle hit a broken top, and then of course this one came back into this fair value gap, which was just below that broken top. But that 21 EMA is still holding tight. So we're going to have to, in fact, there is our what do you call it? This why am I blanking on what this is? It'll come to me. You probably already know what it is. And this is the value area, and this is the most traded area of the fair value. Of that area. Sorry. One problem we have here is I'm looking at the VIX, and the VIX is very low. Very little fear in this market. So not a lot of reason to do much of anything. Pulling back again. I suppose if you are a range trader, you're doing pretty good because you just buy down here, sell up here, buy down here, sell up here. But my experience in the, 3 years or so that I've been trading the futures, that the minute I decide to play the range, I've already waited too long, and now it continues on. I'll buy down here and it'll break down, or I'll short up here and it'll continue up. So I tend to be more of a buy the dip type scalper. Especially, it depends on the account I'm using. Like the Apex accounts with that nasty live trailing drawdown is hard to stay with a trade. You really kind of have to pick a spot and then go with it. Pick a profit target and try to stick with it. I tend to go with 12.5 points on NQ and 5 points on ES. But on trade day and top step, those are end of day drawdowns, so you can try to stay with a trade and either just go all or nothing, move your stop to break even, or you can trail it and see if you can get more than your normal amount on it. But it's a hard habit to break because I do so many Apex accounts that I tend to have the mindset that everything is live trailing and don't like to give back anything. So I'll try to, because you figure 12.5 points is $250 and 5 points is $250. So, those are why I target those. $250 on a trade Can't complain about that. And if it goes against you, $250 drawdown on a live trailing account is not so bad. You can survive that, because even on a 50K account, you have a $2,500 drawdown, so you can survive that. Now, I wouldn't take this long this time around because it's already basically touched it. 1, 2, 3. This will be the fourth time, so this could easily just break through this time. I would think that this is going to flush now. I mean, this has tested this thing so many times. This thing could go. This could go all the way down to like 8:30, and that's where we started yesterday. But man, this area here is ugly. So we're waiting for that to break one way or the other, and then we'll see what we can do with it. Yeah, see, now we're getting a little bit more of a breakdown. Still bouncing off of that. Let's get rid of this. This is distracting. Yeah, still rejecting. But this many attempts, I think we're going to finally get through it. There we go. And what it could be doing is trapping some shorts, and it's going to rip back up. I don't know. I mean, that little move right there was definitely to grab some of these stops here. There's a bunch of stops below this stem right here. And right now, that's exactly what they're doing. They're just grabbing all these stops. Now, are they going to just continue down, or are they grabbing the stops to rip it back up? That is the question. If we knew that, we'd all be billionaires. Yeah, if it breaks through this fair value gap, I mean, we may have a ways to go down. ES is not dropping in the same way. As a matter of fact, we've got this kind of a wedge forming here. 2000 tick chart, I mean, this thing is just very range bound. I mean, look at that EMA is, that 20 EMA is almost completely horizontal. And this is about the point where people start to get some FOMO and confidence that, you know, this range is gonna hold up, for instance. You know, I don't know, something like that. So like, okay, I see what's happening here. I'm gonna buy the bottom of this channel and I'm gonna sell the top of this channel, and that'll be just about the time where this thing breaks through one side or the other. To me, in order to even participate in this, we'd have to really get a flush one way or another and then pull back into it and then test it again. So now we're kind of breaking that channel. We're breaking it on the ES too. That's a new lows. On NQ, now a new low on ES. Sometimes this overshoot on this channel will result in an overshoot on the upside too. Hmm. 900's way down here. That would be a hell of a move. I like this 920 down here. If we get down there. Even if it were to make its way down to this S4 aggressively, it might not be a bad place to take a nibble long. But not if it just sort of melts down into it. I mean, if we get an aggressive move down, I'd be willing to take a nibble long. Especially this particular account that I'm thinking of that I'm trading right now is a 150K eval account with a $5,000 drawdown. So I've got some room to give there. What would that have to be? You know, from this low, that's only less than 20 points. To the middle of this fair value gap, it's 32, 33 points. Don't know. I could be like Patrick and tell you, oh yeah, by the way, I've been short since 1680. I'm up $20,000. 10 contracts. What would that be? If you went from, if you shorted here, yeah, that's 2,000. So 10 contracts, 27,000. And this is getting pretty aggressive here. Should we try a little bit of a long at S4? Scary. Let's see what it does. Right now we're kind of in no man's land. We need a little bit more of a flush. Like for instance here, what would that look like from here? So there's our midline. We could put a long here. S4 might be a more likely target. I don't know if we're going to get all the way down, although I do like that 920 area. Not as much as 420. LOL. Hell, you could have just closed your eyes and just shorted on every green bar and you would have been good. It's going to touch that S4. I'm going to give it a try. It is an eval, so we won't take a lot out of it, but we'll try to take something out of it if we can. All right, so we're in this trade. I'm going to move this down because I'm willing to buy another one down here at the middle of here. And it still wants to come down, doesn't it? Ugh. Well, we'll pick, since this is a big account, we will go ahead and add a second at the middle of that fair value gap. But so far, not so good. I would have liked to have seen that reject that more aggressively, but we'll see. I mean, that was a pretty nice move down, so we might be able to get a little bit of a relief here. And what I tend to do is when I add that second account, that second contract, I'll take one out at break even just to kind of reduce my average. But I would have liked to seen that thing rejected a little more aggressively. It seems like it's still pretty heavy. Almost tempted to get out break even, but we'll see. Yeah, look at that. Wow. I'm going to just add a second, that's all, and then I'm going to try to get rid of one of the contracts at break even. Ooh, man, just missed it. This is aggressive. We're down about 250 on that trade so far. Now 110. Yeah, I was a little too excited about that S4. I should have waited for the consequent encroachment of this fair value gap. Down about $100 on this trade so far. This is heavy. Again, I've got like $5,000 in drawdown on this particular evaluation account. So not a lot of pressure one way or another. I wouldn't mind picking up that second contract since we've come down this far anyway. About $220 down on this trade. Again, just an eval, but still. Man, look at ES. I mean, look at both of them. That is amazing. Hopefully we're going to put in a short-term bottom here. What does it look like over here? Yeah, there's a lot of reason for it to pause here, so I think we're going to probably be okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and take one out here. If we can. Wow. This thing's just going crazy, isn't it? Holy crap on a cracker. Now I'm getting nervous. I'm not adding any more though. Actually only down about $300 on this trade, and I'm hoping to lighten up because I hate trading more than one contract generally. Especially this was such a counter trend trade. I definitely don't want to be in this heavy. If I can get out one of these contracts, I'll be happy. Come on, a little bit more, baby. It's amazing how it like always finds your break even to reverse. We're only down about $12 at this point. There we go. So, all right, so now we've lightened up considerably, and we're up $60 on this trade. So we're going to try to stick with it. I wonder if I should be thinking about just breaking even on this trade. Doesn't seem particularly aggressive to the upside, does it? We're up about $60 only. I guess I can move this up here. So that's 86. Up $126, up $100. You know what? I'm gonna stick with this thing. Screw it. There's our break even right around there. I mean, it's going to come back and try to get these stops, and then I'm hoping that once it does that, it'll head back up. We're down about $30 on this trade right now. It's hard to put stops down because they always take them out. In fact, I'm going to move this out of the way and I'll just manually get out if I have to. Down about $30 now. We're at about break even right there. Just keep an eye on it here. Let's see what she's going to do. This gold line here is the 9 EMA. Retracement back to there would be pretty nice. I probably would get out there. It's also the middle of a bearish fair value gap, so I wouldn't expect it to go up much more than that on a single move. And I actually tempted to get out of this trade just because it's starting to consolidate here, which tells me that we may continue down. We're up about $120 on this trade now. I think I'm going to take it out here. All right. Could have stayed with it, but we picked up about $200 on that trade. I figured that fair value gap was probably where it was going to reverse on us, so it wasn't a pretty trade, but we ended up with $200, which is $225 to be exact. $225 on a long, because a very counter trade long is not too bad, and I attribute all that to these pivot points. What do they call them? Camarilla pivots and fair value gaps. In particular, the 50%, the dead center of a fair value gap, very powerful. And if you can line it up with a few other things, again, these didn't line up very well, and you can see that that's a sweet spot. Somewhere's in there. So we ended up halfway between those because we went in at S4 and we went in at the consequent encroachment. So we were at about 28, 26 was our break-even point. And we got out, we used this bearish fair value gap as a point that we were going to get out of there. And you can see it's still fighting against that consequent encroachment right here. But anyway, I am done with this trade for now, so we'll see what happens from here on out. Are we going to continue to break down, or are we going to reverse? I mean, look at these wicks on the ES. So anyway, for now, we'll sit on our hands. So at least in my trading, once we've dealt with this consequent encroachment once, I stay away from it only because the first time's a charm. And that's true with so many, even pullbacks into EMAs. You know, the first time is a charm, but you start to get the second or third time, it gets kind of sketchy. And we had a nice move down here, so who knows? But we may be trying to retrace all of yesterday's gains. Where did that go? It's all the way down here, right? This red one? The red one is, yeah, prior day's low. And the blue one is prior day's open. So this is yesterday's low and yesterday's open. So we're actually not that far away from yesterday's open. That's wild. That's only like 23 points. 22 points. That's wild. Wild. Yeah, right here. Yeah, actually, that was the overnight. I mean, the actual 6 o'clock open, the 8:30 open is all the way over here. So that's at what, 889, something like that. We haven't gotten there yet. What do we need to get down there? Somewhere's in here. They're only like, what, 30 points? Less than 30 points. We shall see. But yeah, it likes that this big fair value gap. Look at that, right off of that 50% mark. In fact, we're kind of trading right between the top of that fair value gap and consequent encroachment. So we're down almost 1% on the day here. Not my accounts, I'm talking about the market itself. And we're back to where we got out of that trade. So that would have worked the second time. In fact, even better because it was straight up instead of all that screwing around that we had to deal with. So now we're hitting up against that 9 EMA. We should get a rejection off of that, at least a small one. So what do you say? Do we sell that pullback? Or is it done? 9 EMA is pretty responsive. 21 is more reliable, I think. To 9 EMA holding. I had marked a level at 917 and I don't know why. Let me see if I can find, oh, it's just the consolidation from yesterday. Bounced right off of 917. It is tempting to go short here, but man, we've come down so much so fast. Just for fun, I'm going to throw a fib on this thing. Probably, let's say this last move here. Let's just say from here to here. So there's your 50%. Right up here at 51 and or so. $51.5 would be the half retracement of this latest leg down. It turns out we should have just hung on to our long, it looks like. It's scary to short this thing after it's come down so hard. Might be tempted up in this area here around 64, 65 maybe. We were long somewhere's in here, right? Yeah, so we could have done better. A little bit. That was 365. Yeah, 150 bucks more. We made 225 on our trade. I'd like to see it test that 21 EMA, this blue line here, teal, and possibly take a short up in this area. But don't know. That could be the end of it, and it rockets back up. ES is rejecting its 21 EMA on the 3-minute. What's the 2000 tick look like? We're above the EMA on the 2000 tick. So if I'm only looking at this chart, I'm thinking long, right? Pull back into this gap or all the way down to the 21, go long. If you're a two-legged pullback guy, maybe you wait for a second entry long before, second entry long off of this 21 EMA and try it there. But then I look at the 3-minute, I say, screw it, man, that's a short. And it's turning out that that is in fact the case. But at least on NQ, I feel like we're sort of like in no man's land right here. These fair value gaps are very powerful though. Especially if you're a scalper. If you're only looking for, a few points. If you're looking for 1 point, I remember when people just started aggressively talking about two-legged pullbacks, and they were only looking for 1 point, $50, It's 43, 42, 75 is here. ES is starting to look a little bullish, isn't it? That was it for the news today, right? Tuesday, yeah, FOMC is the next thing up at 2 p.m. About 3 hours from now. Definitely tempted to go short up in here, but I'd like to get a little bit more of a retrace. Although that 21 EMA is starting to come down into this area, but we have not touched it. This consolidation, when you get into this consolidation, it tends to break out in the direction that it came into it. So we come in bullish, consolidate, exit bullish. For as much movement as this has had, we did not trade very much. I'm going to mute for a few minutes here. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. It's getting to be 11 o'clock Eastern here. I'm debating whether to wrap things up or hold on for a little bit. I'm still tempted to get in on this short. Not sure if I should just wait for the touch of the 21 EMA and see if it rejects, or to hold off until we get up into this fair value gap. ES is starting to look pretty bullish. You look at the 2000 tick chart, we are well above EMA. In fact, it touched, I think this is my 50 that's my 100. This is 100 EMA. It touched it and rejected it. NQ is not going the same direction. It's just kind of ticking sideways for now. Is it going to follow the ES? I see no reason it wouldn't. I mean, shorting the ES up here at 46 wouldn't be such a bad idea. I've got to take a bio break. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and nothing's happened while I was gone, which is fine. I don't know if I can oil this chair or not. That's got to be annoying. I don't even hear it anymore, but I'm thinking that people listening would find it very distracting. Didn't do that when I bought it. I do like the idea of shorting a little bit right up there around 46.75. Man, we are just stuck here. I think it's just, we're after 11 now, so I have a feeling we're going to be dealing with a lot of this for the next 2 hours, 3 hours. 3 hours until the FOMC. The closer we get to it, the less volume, I think. Fewer people are willing to screw around leading up to it. After 11, things always slow down anyway. ES is rejecting a bit. I would have liked to see it get up into here around 46.75, 46.75. Not only is that in the middle of a fair value gap, it's right at the bottom of all this action here. Lines up nicely for a rejection, but it rejected early. It rejected at the bottom of these broken candles. These broken lows, these broken swing lows right here. That's where it reversed. But we don't know. I mean, it could be trying to trap some shorts here and then rock it back up. I mean, typically, especially on a 2000 tick, come back, touch this 20 EMA, and we go long. It's dumping now. Next opportunity for long, maybe down here at 45.40. Well, I think I'm going to call it here because we are kind of treading water and we're going to be getting closer and closer to the FOMC meeting. I may stream again when the numbers are announced, or I'm sorry, when the minutes are read. There's no numbers. When the minutes are read, and see if we can get a trade in there. But other than that, I think we'll take a break here and maybe I'll see you later. All right, well, thanks for watching, and we're going to try to do this more regularly and hopefully get better at it. But for now, have a great day, and maybe I'll see you this afternoon. What is that? That's at 2 o'clock Eastern, so maybe we'll get back together then. Otherwise, I shall see you guys later. I got to push the right button here, though. Here we go. There we go. Talk to you later.